Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Bantikow, where today we're probably not going to finish up Field 18, but we're going to get as close as we can. Going to record 2 episodes today, as I tend to do, back to back, and wherever we finish up, I'm going to finish that off screen, just so that we're not having another episode of harvesting. Now, you'll probably notice, if you're paying attention, I haven't said this immediately because I want people to maybe notice before I said it. If you're paying attention, you will notice that my harvester is running low on fuel. We've been going for so long, the harvester's nearly out of fuel. That's kind of an issue. So I'm going to have to try and figure out a way to get this thing to a fuel point. Well, we can get to one from the top of the field. That's okay then. If it does run out of fuel, I'll just get a fuel tank and truck it on down here. So either way, there's a solution. I would just prefer to not run out of fuel. But we're going to go as long as we can with this harvester without it running out of fuel. So, things. As you can see, I'm still running with the Tram Tracks mod, the lanes special. It's a mod that installs a specialization on all tractors, so it's kind of somewhere in between a script and a mod and a vehicle thingy. But yeah, the reason I'm playing with it is just so that, well, to discourage me from driving on the fields. Now, as you saw in Aldridge, that does have a bit of a problem, in that it does conflict a small bit with the green manure mod, because for green manure I need to drive on the fields to cultivate them, short of getting a front cultivator, of course, which is really a possibility. But the green manure mod is made useless by this mod. Or made mostly useless. If I get a ridiculously large cultivator, it becomes useful again. But yeah, it's a small bit of a conundrum, I must say, and that's why the last episode is called Cultivation Conundrum, or the last episode on Aldridge. I'm probably going to get rid of the green manure mod for the simple reason that this mod adds challenge. The green manure mod just adds a different way to fertilize. It's realistic to an extent. It's realistic because some farmers do use manure, or do use ungrown crop as fertilization. It primarily is alfalfa or clover or something like that. But really, why would a farmer grow a crop just for the sake of growing a crop to cultivate into the ground? I know some farmers do that, and I'm not criticizing farmers, but really what farmers do is, when they got more than enough straw, is they start chopping the straw, and that actually fertilizes the ground as well. I'll just switch to this, and I also need to turn down minimum level on that. There we go. Now you can see why I've got glimpse. It's because I can just set it to show whatever I want. So if I set minimum level to 8, it disappears off the screen altogether. If I set it to 3, it shows everything, but I like having it on 0, so it will show me absolutely everything that's going on. We still have some crop in here, but that's not a big issue. I'll just turn the harvester around, and it only occurred to me last night or the night before when I was doing a test on a different Bantikow save game, and that test will continue. It's an interesting one, and I will share the results when I have them. But it occurred to me, these fields aren't fertilized. This is not maximum yield. These fields can have a lot more barley and wheat and canola and stuff coming off them. So I'm going to be very interested in seeing what our next crop is going to be like, because we're going to be replanting barley here. just for the sake of replanting barley, really. We have a header for it, we've got all the equipment for handling barley. It's one of the easier ones to grow in the game. Well, they're all easy to grow, but it's one of the easier ones to deal with. And yeah, it's just easier for me, really. But one thing I'm going to do is, I may do at least one field on screen, but I'm going to fertilise everything up, possibly quite late into the night. We're still on day 1, miraculously, and somewhat confusingly, and it makes me kind of glad that I've decided to leave a day, because, you know, I may have to actually harvest everything before I can even think of planting. Or get auto tractor working properly. For some reason it decides to just go off in a straight line and never turn. I think, and I'm not sure, but I think it is a conflict with the GPS mod. That's the only thing I can think of that'll be causing that to happen. So what I might do is I might move the GPS mod to my deactivated folder. Because that's where drive control currently lives, is in my inactive mods folder. Because I do like drive control, but with a controller it just doesn't really work. So drive control is in my inactive mods folder. I'm going to be moving GPS in there as well to do a few tests to see if auto tractor will work with GPS disabled. And if that's the case, then GPS is also going into my inactive mods folder. So my model is still correct in showing drive control and GPS, because they are still mods that I have. Mods that I've got rid of, because I set up a mod testing save game, which is where I test all the new mods that I get. And there are a couple of new ones that I have. I'm not going to go into what they are at the moment. The forestry set. That was recommended to me by, I believe, if I remember right, it was Pascal van Ratingen recommended to me the forestry set by First Day Reviews. I bought the entire set of it in my test map last night, and the map immediately stopped working. The game ran at 1 frame per minute or so, and from what I could see of the models in game, they weren't particularly amazing. The tracks on a couple of the vehicles went like 30 meters long, and it was just silly. So no offense to the mod maker or whoever recommended to me. If it was you, Pascal van Ratingen, I do apologise. I just didn't like the mod, and the mods that I use are pretty much going to be mods that I like. Like I said, I got a couple of new mods. Believe I showed 1 or 2 of them off. Well, I showed you the pictures in the shop. I got a couple more. One of them I'm going to be using in Aldridge. I think I only got 1 more. I don't know what mods I've shown off now. But I have a TW34. Really nice mod. It doesn't get dirty, which is a bit of a downside. The wheels do, so I can kind of overlook that. That's kind of like, that's something I'd like to see in a V2 of the tractor, because it is a relatively nice mod. Modeling's not brilliant. Textures are good, which is why I'm keeping it, but the modelling could be improved slightly. And I'd love to see it being completely washable. I'd love to see somebody throwing a dirt layer on it, so that it can be made washable. I could in theory do it, but I really have no idea how I would. And another one I have, I believe I told you about the Axion 850 that I have. Now, I've heard there are a couple of problems with it. I couldn't really find any when I was doing some testing, so I'm going to keep that. I think I already told you as well about the FS15 936. That's going to stay. That's a really nice mod. A bit loud, but I can overlook that. And the TW30, as I've already mentioned. As well as that, I also have an Amazon 1500 pallet spreader. It's a relatively small fertilizer spreader, but I think it fits on the likes of Aldridge, and if I was going for an older style of equipment on this map, because I'm insane, that is something that I would actually do as well. So don't discount me having ridiculously small equipment on a ridiculously large map, especially for this series. This is just season 1 of the hardcore series, so there will be further seasons of this. I just need to find decent maps. So expect at some point in the future for me to have a ridiculously large map with really, really tiny equipment. Something like the Sample Rosenloo Harvester, like 5.5 meters or less. That is something that I would do just to challenge myself. I would have to fiddle around with my night growth mod to slow the growth down to maybe one stage every 2 days. Or turn off withering entirely, which would kind of defeat the purpose of having it hardcore. But I would start off with tiny equipment and fiddle my growth times around to suit. I'm going to try as much as I can to have growth times turned on at all times, wither turned on at all times, and all that kind of stuff going on as well. So, looking at the time now that we've been going, probably won't finish this field today. I might finish it in the next episode, which is good. The foraging I'll do off screen. That's something that I can easily do off screen. Any extra harvesting that needs to be done here, we can do off screen. So in a couple of episodes time, I'll be fast forwarding on to day 2, which is surprising. This is episode, what, 10? And we're still on day 1. I'm recording quite late in the day today. It's 5:45 in the evening for me, so it's actually about 20 minutes behind in-game time. So the in-game time is almost right. The reason it's... oh crap, I wasn't paying attention. The reason it's so late is because I woke up late today. That's been happening lately. And I've got a couple of hours where it's easier to move the tractor, isn't it? I've got a couple of hours where my parents are away collecting my sister. She's going home for the evening. She's heading off again tomorrow, so I can do some more recording or whatever tomorrow morning. Gonna try and get 2 episodes of Aldridge done as well today. So, expecting tomorrow's Aldridge episode me to be a bit quieter than usual. Why is the... oh. Yes, that explains a lot. So, oh, it is time in Ireland, at least right now, for pellet fertilizers to be sprayed and to be spread out. And I know this because a Fent 724 passed by my door earlier on today. The front door, I was out playing with the cat. And a Fent 724, beautiful Fent 724, passed by with a big pellet spreader like the one we have on this map being towed behind it. Wrong vehicle. And I was just kind of like, ooh, that's a nice tractor. So it's something that I would like here, in fact, in this game. So if you know of any Fent 724 mods, because that is a nice looking tractor. And I do like the look of Fents. They are a bit loud, even in real life they are a bit loud, but they are nice tractors. Is it the Axion? Is the tractor version? Yeah, the Axion 850. That is a really nice tractor as well. I've seen a few of them in game. The game's decided to just stop. There we go. I've seen a few Axion 850s around as well. They're relatively small but high horsepower, so they're pretty good for Ireland. From what I know, they've got a good lock on them as well. Primarily used for hedge cutting. I've seen a few in hedge cutting trim, or as it would be called in farms, in forestry trim, because they got the big metal gratings up and all that sort of stuff. But I've seen a couple of them out doing hedge trimming and hedge cutting. The likes of Deutz, not really used all that much around here. John Deere, really popular for tractors. Every second or third tractor you'll see in Ireland is a John Deere, easily. Claas, Fendt, also big brands here for tractors. Deutz not so much, but I've seen a few. Case, I've seen a decent few. Case is probably the 4th or 5th. New Holland, quite popular as well. JCB, every farmer wants a fast track. But yeah, this is the joy of living in Ireland, because it's such an agricultural country that you get to see. Like, I'm not a farmer, but I can tell you that John Deere is the biggest brand in Ireland by far. Now, my view may be biased by the fact there's a John Deere dealership 10 miles down the road from me, but it does seem that way. Massey Ferguson as well, big brand here. Probably because of the Ferguson system, which was made in Ireland, or the UK. I think it was made in Ireland. Don't quote me on that, because I'm completely unsure of my facts there. But yeah, Ferguson system, really nice. It was St. Patrick's Day a couple of days ago for me, and I was looking through pictures of my town's parade yesterday on Facebook, because I decided in all my wisdom that I didn't want to go outside the front door because I'm lazy like that. And I regret it. I really regret it, because they had this beautiful classic Fendt tractor in the parade. Just beautiful. Probably from the late 60s, early 70s, if I had to guess. Really well maintained. Beautiful. I'm gonna say vintage. It's probably not quite. No, 25 years is vintage. It would be vintage, but most people would call it a classic tractor. Beautiful old thing, and I kind of wish I was there downtown, or even outside my down the road from me, just to see it going and to hear the old tractor noises it makes and that sort of stuff. But, alas, I didn't, and I regret it. What else was in the parade? There were a few newer tractors. One of them passed by my house, so I got to see a bit of the parade unintentionally. Front-loaded tractors, of course, with the amount of baling that's done in Ireland and silaging, really popular. So every second or third tractor here has a front-loader attachment. Really good for the Ice Bucket Challenge, as I discovered when my aunt and uncle, who do live on a farm and are quite the messers, they do enjoy screwing about a bit with the farm equipment. They did the Ice Bucket Challenge in groups. The women, I think, went first, and the men went the next day or a couple of days later. And yeah, they used the bucket of my uncle's tractor as an ice bucket, and yeah, that they can hold quite a lot of water, as it turns out. I was honestly amazed at how long it took for a shovel, you know, front loader shovel, to empty of just holding water. So yeah, America, you might think you do things the biggest and the best, but you give Irish farmers 20 minutes and an excuse to use a tractor for something, they will find a silly way to do things. I've also seen people using slurry tankers to do the Ice Bucket Challenge. Actually, slurry tankers and cars. I've seen people using cars as well. I know there is. I will give America and North America this. I did see one guy using an auger wagon to do the Ice Bucket Challenge. That was probably the most insane way I've seen it done. But yeah, if you don't know what the Ice Bucket Challenge is, welcome to the internet, where silly things happen on a weekly basis. The Ice Bucket Challenge was a big thing about a year ago now, and it's where people dumped buckets of ice water over themselves for charity. The biggest charity there was ALS, or motor neurons, which, yeah, that's something I'll support. I'll support any motor neuron charity. I knew a person who had it, and it was genuinely distressing to see the disease take hold, and to see him deteriorate the way he did. So, if and when I do any charity events, in any capacity, the first one's going to be for motor neuron, and obviously I'll do some child's play stuff as well for gaming and children's hospitals. But motor neuron disease and cancer research are the two charities that I will most openly and most willingly and most lovingly support, because I've got experience of people going through both motor neuron disease and various cancers, and they are the absolute hardest things that you can ever go through, is knowing somebody who's got motor neuron disease. It's incurable. The only treatment really is just to, at best, try and slow it down, at worst make sure it's not painful. Cancer, if you get lucky, it's completely treatable, completely curable, but there's no real prevention mechanism at the moment. There's no way to completely and reliably prevent cancer, which, it's sad. I think I'm going to actually end here, because I need to fill up this trailer. Well, I need to empty the harvester. That'll fill up the trailer, and I'm going to bring it back to the farm off screen. So I will finish by saying I've been Rainbow Dave. You've been watching Farming Simulator 15 on Bantikow. Please comment, like, and subscribe, and all of that nonsense. Don't be shy. Seriously, if you want to say something to me privately, send me a message. Go onto my channel page, you'll see a business email. I will look at the emails on there if you send me one. It's not specifically for business. But if you want to send me something privately, you can either send me a message here, send me an email or something, and I will read it. I do try and read all the messages I get. I don't get many, so at present it's beneficial for you to send me messages, because then you'll be guaranteed, number one, that I'll read it, and number two, there's a better chance of me replying. Same with comments at the moment, because, well, I'm getting next to none. So yeah, I do read everything that comes in. Any comments I do read. I might not necessarily reply to them, but I do read them all. I don't get any messages, so, well, I did. So if you want to talk to me by private message, you can. If you want to follow me on Twitter, you can. Twitter's down in the description below. I think I've got the right handle. I keep screwing up all of the handles I put in. I know I've screwed up in Compotech a couple of times. That's Kevin McLeod's music site, where I get all of my royalty-free music. I've screwed up my own Twitter handle in several videos. It's Rainbow_Dave, if you want to follow me on Twitter, just to hit myself out on a video. And unless you're abusing me, I will read your messages and I will reply. If you do start abusing me, you will get blocked. Okay. And sometimes I start abusing just people in general on Twitter. Don't take any notice of that. That's just me venting. So, I'm definitely going to leave it here. Thank you very much for watching, and until I see you next time, when I'll probably be back at the harvester or something, going down the field, try to finish up field 18. Until next time, stay safe, and goodbye.